This is gonna be my new video log of a new build. It's not gonna be something specific or special. I just wanted to explain a little bit the cable management, because I see a lot of people on YouTube do the videos about various computers, but they never mention the cable management. And this is a very small case, so I have to hide the cables very well. So the case is a Lian-Li then A3 mATX case. It's a very small case, so that's nothing too special. The idea is just to follow this basic design. However, I wanted to create positive pressure. So my worry is that I have to create somehow enough intake for the graphics card to remain cool. That's not the problem, but then that enough of the ventilation actually gets to the CPU cooler and is exhausted everywhere else, because the case has a top panel mesh, has a front panel mesh, bottom intake has a filter, which is what I want to use, but one of the side panels is also mesh. So I wanted to avoid air to come through this side and maximize the air pressure inside. So I overspent money on the fans, and what I got was Noctua fans. These are the generation 2 fans, but there's a caveat. There's the 2-fan package. This 2-fan package has the distinct advantage that one of the fans is set to 750 RPM, the other is set to 850 RPM, so they don't amplify each other. So the idea is to have 3 intake fans at the bottom, which there's room for, that's not the problem. But then there's a height difference to the GPU. So the graphics card has to be mounted here. And when the graphics card goes up to here, I didn't want it to block all the airflow that comes from the bottom towards the CPU cooler, which is about to sit here. I wanted to put an exhaust here, and I hope that's enough. So there will be 6 fans total, all Noctua fans. Because 3 at the bottom, 1 is exhaust, and 2 will be on the CPU cooler. And this should hopefully keep the entire case or the CPU cool. The CPU is the big problem. If I do not have enough cooling, then I'll have to add 2 more at the top. So if I have to add 2 more at the top, 1 will be exhausting air, but the other pretty much will be always intaking air, which I do want to prevent, because the intake here, the problem is there's no dust filter on this side of the mesh, but the only way, so basically the cool air comes in, CPU cooler takes it in. That would be only the problem if this isn't enough. I already added the PSU, stock it's mounted to the front, I mounted it to the side, and I also saw that with the case you get this bracket for 2 SSDs, 2.5 inch. And my idea is now to put this at the front to further block intake of air here. So if the air comes in here, it goes straight up, but the cable management will be very important, because I have to connect everything here, connect it to here, and so the cables will be very visible. So as I'm going along, I will explain step by step what I'm doing, kind of a thing, and hopefully it will be a little bit insightful on how to do cable management, even in such a small case where everything will be very visible. Okay, let's continue a little bit. So I added the front panel SSD, I don't know, bracket. So this will restrict the airflow, and preferably the airflow will be much better directed towards the CPU cooler. So But I also noticed at the top, somewhat clean. On the back, I will not have that much room to do cable management, but because I use an SFX PSU, I will try to hide some cables here, maybe some on the top. And the SSD bracket will come in handy because I can use the holes it has to zip tie cables here. So I'll do my best. But a little bit of an update is more on the bottom part. So there will be the 3 Noctua fans, but also a graphics card, right? This is the designated graphics card for this build. It's an MSI 5060 Ti with 16 gigabytes of VRAM. So it's not like a super powerful graphics card, but the point was more the VRAM. I use 3 monitors for work, and this is a work PC. But I can see if I put it inside. Okay, let me just remove this. So this is how it will sit. There should be ample room over here, so the 3 fans can be put on here. And there should also be the 3rd fan, should also have plenty of airflow behind it. And from looking from the top, I noticed, which is very, very positive, that when the graphics card will be installed, as so, the fans should have plenty of room here and here to also direct airflow towards the CPU cooler. So this is positive for now. We'll see, slowly but surely. I will do a test of the hardware outside, and I did turn the PSU fan in this direction. The main reason I did that is, first of all, it looks a little bit better with the window that I can see the fan, but second of all, and more importantly, I wanted to know when the fan is spinning and when it's not. I had a Crosshair PSU, and that one started spinning at 150 watts load, and then it shut off again and turned on again and turned off again. So if you were in Windows, it kept making noise because of the constant turning on and off. And I hope I will avoid this with the Lian-Li. But also, I thought if it's this way, I can monitor it, and hopefully the fan will make less noise because it will be blocked somewhat by the side panel window. And yeah, we'll see, slowly but surely. Okay, I have installed all 3 fans at the bottom. One extension cord, the cables very easily hidden at this side, so they won't be hardly visible. I might use some zip ties later on, but this is the Noctua fan. So you can see on this one, that's the 1750 RPM one. So it's now 1850, 1750, 1850. So you increase the maximum pressure. This one will be used as an exhaust. And Noctua does provide dampening material. It apparently also helps with airflow. So I installed all 3 of those on the bottom intake fan. And I will install at the exhaust also. You just basically take off these grommets. And there you go. There's only one wider side and it has to be put on this side. That's the only thing you have to be mindful of. And now this fan will be installed here at some point, but probably only after the motherboard gets installed. New update. I have played around with the cable management a little bit, and what it turns out, I can use the 24 pin and the 8 pin cables, route them behind the PSU shroud, and it will be very, very close. Hopefully it will fit, but it will be very, very, very clean. And I also extended them to here for the CPU cables. And other than that, I only have a GPU cable. So with that in mind, the only problem I have now is this cable is a little bit too short. At least if I want to route it cleanly, right? Because I put the graphics card in. And I saw that it should be plugged into here. So I'm short like 10 centimeters. They really didn't give long cables with this PSU, and I thought that would have to hide them. But as it turns out, I mean, okay, I still have to finish like up here. But other than that, I will hardly have any cables left to be seen anywhere. So looks kind of clean for like the first phase. Like even the Noctua cables, I managed to put them behind this, so they are quite well hidden. I might buy an extension cable for this one, because I think it would look very, very pretty if it just went down straight like this. And then I can hide everything here. Like this is just illuminated, so you can see it now a little bit better, but when the light's off, you can't see anything. This is basically the situation on the other side. So this is for the graphics card, CPU and 24 pin. I just mounted together and rerouted them over here. And it is very, very tight, so it barely fits. But behind here, there's enough room for the cables, so it fits well. I'm kind of happy with it, with the cable management. It will be super easy actually. Also fitting the GPU will be quite good. Like the GPU will fit like this, so there will be ample airflow around the GPU and also through the GPU, right? Because it has a blow-through function, so pretty much 2 full fans will not blow directly into the GPU. I think 3 fans might be enough. Okay, the computer build is pretty much done. I added the motherboard, the CPU cooler, and I replaced them with the Noctua fans. Here's the second Noctua fan, just waiting to be installed. The only part I'm still waiting for is the memory. Unfortunately, until I have the memory, I can't turn it really on. But the cable management looks like this now. I'll try to. So the 2 8 pins are like there. This is the one Noctua fan. Here I'll install the second one, obviously. And here I'll install then the second one. Memory will get installed. Everything else is hidden here. I found a great solution for this cable. That's the Type-C connector. It's rerouted here and goes straight down, so it's fairly clean. This cable is unfortunately stupid. That's the Type-A USB connector. I just rerouted it here, used this shroud bracket to connect it to, rerouted it here, but here it's de-ogged a bit. Then let's focus here. So this is I think the ugliest bit. I don't have a cable tie. I could maybe put it like here, but that's pretty much it. I also decided to reroute the cables for the Noctua fans. So these two are daisy chained, and the cable goes around here and plugs in at the bottom, and these two are also connected to each other and then rerouted. I decided to not use a cable that goes up here behind the motherboard tray, like the Noctua fan has a cable and it goes straight down here. It's daisy chained here and then rerouted at the back here. This is the only hanging cable, but that's the short one. I tried to reroute the PCI cable somewhere. Like if it was really pretty or long enough, I would have probably chosen to go this route and then plugged it in from here. But this is like plan B, basically the length that it has. Still, I think it looks okay. The other cables are pretty much all hidden behind the graphics card. They're also bundled. Various zip ties have been used, except here for the Noctua things, because pretty much you don't see them, right? If you're a little bit further back, you do not see any cables. So this is the only cable, and I don't think it's at the bad location, so the 3 fans should be pushing a lot of air in through here and back here. So the CPU cooler, I think, will have plenty of fresh air. And I will avoid adding 2 more fans at the top. I will also show how it looks from the other side. This is the cable management from the other side. There could be a little bit more pressure here to put the cables down here, but I basically rerouted everything at the back. I also zip tied the PSU extension cable down here, so it's also not bundled up here somewhere. Like I said, this is like the only kind of ugly cable visible. So these, well, yeah, it's not picked up, but it is very, very, very clean. So considering that it's a normal computer in this small case, it's not bad. Not even from the backside. So memory left, and then I can turn the CPU on the computer on and see if everything works. What I wanted to show is how much Noctua provides on additional things. So this is from 6 fans, is my leftover parts of everything the Noctua provided, except for those 2, of course, those are from the case. But like everything else are like grommets or stuff that Noctua provides. Extension cable, sort of everything. Amazing. Just from 6 fans. Okay, the computer is done. So the fans are spinning at 700 RPM. It's good that I chose the proper CPU, because even with this cooler, it gets hot. It's an Intel Core i5-14-1600K. I didn't do any overclocks or anything on it. I will probably try to further downclock it to make it remain cool, as I hoped. The fan on the PSU does not spin at all, so everything remains nicely quiet. At 700 RPM, I can't hear the fans either. The GPU doesn't spin also. It's an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 6070. Like I said, nothing special. The important thing was 16 gigabytes of RAM. And I chose DDR4 memory, primarily because it's early 2026 and the memory prices have exploded. So, but it's a working PC. It's fine the way it is. No RGBs, even the few on the motherboard I turned off. This is basically all the cable clutter you can see here. Other than that, pretty clean. So I'm very happy with it, but it does turn on if it's under load.